Hey guys, Colin here from CH Gadgets, and I'm really excited to talk about this one because it's not too often you find a hi-fi speaker system at this price with these type of specs that deliver the type of performance that this one does. By the way, we're talking about the Airpulse A80 RMS Audio Certified Bookshelf Speaker System. And that name is an entire mouthful to say all the time, so from here on out, we're just gonna refer to this as the A80s. And don't worry, we're definitely gonna talk about the audio quality and performance, the price and value. Yeah, we're gonna dig into the entire thing and do the entire breakdown. So let's get into it. Before we jump all the way in though, I think it's worth mentioning that the brand Airpulse in the hi-fi speaker game is relatively young. But what's important for you to know is that the acoustical engineering and technologies that they're using is actually tried and tested. Since one of the original audio designers for Airpulse is actually internationally acclaimed audio designer Phil Jones. Go look him up on Google. And it's also a sister brand to Edifier, which is another highly respected audio brand that knows how to make high quality speaker systems. On the flip side though, I think what Airpulse did is basically took whatever the Edifier team has been doing all these years and kind of cranked the volume to another level, which results in a lot more luxury and prestige. And they've also dialed in the audio performance and audio quality with a lot more refinement, and it's definitely noticeable. All right, so let's jump into it. The cabinet is built with some really thick, high-strength MDF that gives it a really heavy and solid feel in the hands. Plus, it also has a really nice walnut finish that adds to that premium look and feel that makes it versatile enough to fit in almost any home decor or office space. The drivers are some 4.5-inch mid-woofers that are made with some proprietary process that combine the hard anodized aluminum alloy cone along with a ultra-rigid cast magnesium alloy frame and a really large 30mm diameter voice coil. And this new material design along with the larger voice coil should have less power compression because of that larger diameter, while also running at a much cooler operating temperature than what some other smaller voice coil speakers would. Now, one of the key things that really sets this speaker apart from almost everything else that I've tested and used over the past few years, and it's also one of the main things that gives this a very unique sound delivery, is the unloaded ribbon tweeter that was created with a unique process with some thin ribbon diaphragm that has a high sensitivity, which also results in some extended frequency range that is also pretty noticeable when you're listening to some music. Plus, the wider orange shape of these tweeters acts like a waveguide that produce a much wider sound field since they're basically delivering the music right into the listener's ears, which also helps to reduce unwanted reflection. But it gets even better. These drivers are being powered by two Class D amplifiers with about 100 watts of output and a really powerful multi-core signal audio processor that is based on the XMOS X-Core 200 architecture. And there's also a bunch more really cool pieces of tech that is packed inside this thing that gives it an edge over similar speakers in this price class. The A80 is RMS Audio Certified with a signal processor that is capable to unpack high resolution files with almost no loss in quality. Plus, it has a frequency response range from 52 Hz all the way up to 40 kHz and an input sample rate of 192 kHz. It also has a myriad of input support such as aux, PC, USB, optical, and Bluetooth. As a matter of fact, it is actually using the Qualcomm Bluetooth version 5 chipset that supports aptX decoders, which should offer a much better audio quality playback from your mobile device than what most other bookshelf speakers are using, like SBC. Alright, so the back panel control and additional input are a volume knob that doubles as an input selector. There's also a bass and treble dial that gives you plus and minus 3 dB just in case you want to brighten up the highs just a little bit more to give it the certain genres a much better accentuation in the highs, or if you want to crank the bass up just a notch to get that extra kick. However, you may not have to do that since this model also comes with a subwoofer output, which brings those lows even lower with a separate subwoofer. The speaker weighs about 26 pounds and has a really deep cabinet with a sleek and almost minimalist profile whenever you look at it from the front. It also has a really balanced design that makes it look ideal for desktop use. I really like how the front of these speakers look. It's a really nice classy design, and that walnut finish really adds that elegance and prestige that is well needed. Alright, so I know we had to cover a few other important things in order to get to this point, but there's no surprise really, because the A80s sounds amazing. The moment I started listening to some of my favorite tracks, such as Temptation by jazz musician Diana Krall, and Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra, the original version, and even Hotel California by the Eagles, I immediately said, yes, these guys got it. After my first listening sesh, I immediately understood why they paired these 4.5-inch mid-woofers with these horn-loaded tweeters, and that is because it offers excellent clarity in the highs without sounding too sharp or fizzy at the top like some other dome-shaped tweeters would. And it remains consistently stable even when you crank it to higher volumes. Now, the mid-range was really impressive to me because of how it handles instrument and vocal. Plus, the combination of the horn-loaded tweeter along with the bass allowed this system to deliver some excellent detail and resolve some really natural tonal quality in some of the singer's vocals. But the vocal quality reproduction is especially noticeable whenever I'm watching YouTube videos or a movie with some dialogue exchange between two or more people with different vocal tones. The overall bass is tight and rich and is never bloated across genres or overcrowd music whenever it's cranked at higher volumes. The bass was still able to deliver some slam and impact in certain situations. However, this speaker is not tuned for bass heads. So if you're looking for some subwoofer level type performance here, then you should probably look at another pair of powered speakers. But the good thing is you do have the option to have a subwoofer of your choice with the subwoofer output that comes with this model. While I would say these speakers are not really analytical in their technical performance, I do believe that they could work as a reference monitor if you're not doing any critical client work. But these are definitely more musical speakers for me from my tests, and it's a lot of fun to listen to music with because I literally listen now to hear how this handles certain specific songs and genres in my test phase. I really think the A80s is an excellent pair of active bookshelf speakers, priced at about $699, which puts it in a really unique position since it sits at the top of the premium mid-range hi-fi speaker category. But here's what the real question is it worth it? And I could say yes, and I definitely can say no, but here's a better way to look at it. If you have the appetite for a premium tier hi-fi speaker with a myriad of connectivity ports, along with the type of hardware that is usually only exclusive for more expensive speakers, such as a horn-loaded tweeter that is inside of this one, that really allows this system to deliver some top-tier performance with excellent detail retrieval, especially if you can feed it some high-resolution file. But even if you can only feed it CD quality files, it's still a great technical performer that knows how to bring out the best in your music. However, that is just a long way of saying the choice is yours now that you know what this thing has to offer for the money. Before you run off though and start hitting that buy button, I think it would be totally irresponsible of me not to point out some of the gripes that I have with this entire system. Now, everyone is different. For you, these issues are probably but for some people, this might be a serious cause of concern or a flat-out deal breaker. For this price, I seriously think they could have given us a more elegant looking remote, such as the one that comes with the A3000. And speaking of remote, the OLED information display on the front of the master speaker shows everything else except the volume level while using the remote to change the volume. And I seriously wish they had had those volume levels. The bass is good and it does give you a nice listening experience, but it doesn't give you that kick with that sub-bass level type performance that you would get from something like the Edifier 2000 Mark III. And this might be a deal breaker for some people if you only want a standalone bookshelf speaker system that give you that room shaking bass, but you do have the option with this model to add an external subwoofer that will even shake the place even more if you're willing to invest that extra funds towards that separate woofer. So I guess I could nitpick and find the slightest little things to complain about when it comes to this one, but to be completely honest, there's not too many trade-offs that comes with this model. They actually did a really good job. So I might as well just go for the low-hanging fruit and talk about the price. But is it worth it? Is it justified for the expensive hardware that they have packed inside this thing, along with the audio quality and sound delivery, plus that upscale modern design and materials? I would say it probably is, but the choice is truly ultimately yours to be made. However, I am definitely impressed, and this thing comes highly recommended by me. If you keep in mind some of the things that I pointed out that could be potential trade-offs. Tell me something, do you own a pair for yourself? And do you agree or disagree with my assessment of the Airpulse A80? Let me know with any questions of things that you thought I forget to mention about these down in the comment section. If you want one for yourself, check the links down in the description. Please remember to hit the like button on your way out. And if you're feeling generous, leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm's gods. And click my face to get subscribed or check out one of these other videos right here. I made them especially for you.